Greetings. Greetings. Good morning. I'm a little early this morning. This is just going to be one of several today. I'm blocked at Facebook, so I can't write anything. So I might as well speak things I was going to write. And that's we're gonna. Well, first I got to check and make sure my audio is good. And I want to wait for a little bit of an audience to show up, and then let's just mark that for later. That looks interesting. A little all girls jazz quartet sitting by a pool playing soprano sax, trumpet, trombone, and banjo from Italy. That looks like fun. We'll just mark that for later. Looks like gonna need to listen to Colbert too. Last night's Colbert. Uh, did Trump break the law by altering Hurricane Dorian map? And he's calling it Water Dash Gate. It ought to be good. Oh yeah, we need to check the audio. The audio could be fucked up. Is the audio good? Is the audio good? It is. Yay. Is anybody here? No. That's cool. I'm up early. Well, I'm usually up early anyway. But this morning at 6:30, I got a call from a telemarketer and had four telemarketers call by 7:30. And one of them actually called a human, called looking for somebody else to sell them life insurance, and then tried to sell it to me. And I went apeshit on him. And then I checked the kiwi farms and AMB to see if there was anything I needed to address or take pictures of and send to the cop. And what arrogance, ignorant and arrogance together. The Sneasel is, Sneasel's like really a cruel piece of shit and a very arrogant and foolish young man. And much more, he thinks he's brilliant. His head is stuffed full of all sorts of information, but he doesn't have any understanding of any of it. He's trying to convince the world that I have COPD because some of my symptoms match what he read. Chronic postnasal drip, pal. I've had that since I was a kid, just like this. Hardly any difference. But he really believes I'm impotent. This is an issue that has existed from the beginning of the public internet. As in before 1999, there was very little public internet service provisioning. You pretty much had to be, well, actually before 1995 or whenever the fuck AOL, I don't know when AOL came in or when they expanded or anything, but it was around 1995 that the internet started to get anonymous assholes. Prior to that, you couldn't be so anonymous because you had to sign on through a university student or faculty board or through a defense contractor's bulletin board system. That's the only way you could get on before 1995, pretty much. And hardly anybody could get on much before 1999. And before 1999, you couldn't really communicate very well in real time with anything but chat. That's all changed a lot. I don't know when it was that they stuffed the IBM System 32 down into the Android system. But when that happened, boy, the internet totally changed. When you could do everything from your phone that you used to be able to do from your desktop, the internet totally changed. And it's attracted psychopaths, cowardly, angry people, mostly white, mostly male, who get off on the schadenfreude of fucking with people and getting them upset. They get their jollies from that. And then you've got professionals out there who are like inciting these people, feeding them with all kinds of bullshit about their targets to get, to turn these people against them. Here, let me read this for you. This is a winner. Cops are gonna love this. This was last night during the stream, last night's stream. Sneasel jumped up in the thread about it. I see a lot of people are suddenly getting interested in contacting Tom because he's a literal tard, experiencing dementia, and gave himself brain damage from drug use several decades ago. Word to the wise from someone who has been dealing with Tom for 3+ years. See, what you don't understand is you're trying to deal with Tom, and Tom is subservient to Tommy. Tom is like, you don't want to deal with Tom. Tom is someone you can't deal with. It's just impossible to deal with Tom on the terms you're trying to deal with Tom. But you don't understand that Tom is just my male aspect. And Tom is totally built up from self-defense in protecting me from people like you. Okay? Come near me, man, and you're not going to walk away. Whatever you think about my noodle arms or anything else, or my pot belly or anything else, bald head, anything else you want to ridicule, come near me, you won't walk away with that kind of an attitude. Don't directly engage him. He's a dipshit to hold a conversation with because his brain is as slow as a 286 computer, and his memory has been fried by drugs and mental illness. It is better to just observe and report on his fuck nuttery. You can't even understand my fuck nuttery, you twat. Swipe his media, making derivative media from his through his music and whining about being called a child molester is a lot more entertaining than sitting in a chat dropping epic bombs like, Tom, you old child molester, you're going to die any day now. He knows he's a child molester, and he knows he's old, and his days are numbered because of COPD. This isn't new shit to him. The fuck you say, you idiot. My parents are 91 years old. My grandmother was 97. Her aunt was 108. I'm healthy enough to fucking curb stomp you without even getting winded. Feeding him fake docs is just too easy. Yeah, because I know better. And I have known better straight along. He will believe literally anything you tell him. This old Tomo actually believed that he was texting a landline last year. Tom's brain is like an IT system with the password of password. Anyone can get in there and drop any bullshit. It's so easy, it's not even worth the effort. That's because I'm an honest person. And I assume that people communicating with me are being honest. Now, you're not going to get away with very much for very long by lying to me up front like that. It's really getting kind of silly. And most people really, sane people really see you as one really sick motherfucker. And for the love of God there, yeah, these guys are all furries. This guy's like a serious, he's a serious ass fucker, top, multiple partners, and probably without rubbers. Total fucking vector. Major walking vector of SSDIs. Don't be nice to him just to get him to talk to you. You might think that doing this will yield some sick return on your time and effort. There isn't a thing Tom has done that he won't admit to a belligerent party, that he won't admit to someone being nice to him. People who are nice to this old shitbag and sit and chat with him for hours will only get known shit out of him and get shit on by him eventually. Just not worth it. You aren't going to be the next Clyde Cash to Tom's Chris Chan. I'm going to have to check out who Clyde Cash is. Because, see, there's a RICO investigation coming. How and when it's going to start, I don't know, but it's coming. If you listen carefully to that today, I've been studying this for 20 years. Hyde has been in it since February, and unless he's lying, he's not going to stop at this point. He sees what's going on, and he's working on it. So, fuck you, Sneasel. You're dead meat. You really are. You're just fucking dead meat, all of you. All you people that are trying to destroy my life, you're dead meat. How it's going to happen, I don't know, and I don't care. Because that's not my job. My job is to spread joy. My job is to educate and entertain people. So this morning, since we have 3 people here, and I've already been at this 10 minutes, it's time to start reading. This came off of Carol Brochen's wall. Carol is the mother of a non-binary child. I'm not sure exactly how the child identifies, but the child's gender variant. And she's a professor at the University of Arizona. This morning, she shared 20,000 from Newsweek, 20,000 LGBTQ teens will undergo conversion therapy by the end of 18. These practices need to end. Oh, by the age of 18, these practices need to end. And this is Maryland. This is a report on Maryland. I think there's a video here about Maryland banning LGBT conversion therapy for minors. There's only 18 states to do that, I think. Here, we'll read this. Doctors are calling for the end of so-called conversion therapy, falsely sold as a way to change a person's sexual orientation or gender identity. An estimated 20,000 LGBTQ adolescents will be subjected to conversion therapy with a licensed healthcare professional by the time they reach 18, according to physicians writing in the New England Journal of Medicine. The debunked practice is underpinned by patently false science, the authors wrote, and can involve behavioral and talk therapies marketed as methods to change a person from being lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer to heterosexual or cisgender. In rarer cases, it can involve aversion therapy such as electroshock, chemical, and deprivation treatments, which proponents say can cause heterosexual adjustment. Anyone can undergo the practice, but is most common among young men from conservative religious backgrounds whose families reject their LGBTQ identity, like Mike Pence. Classic example of what damage can be done by conversion therapy. Poor baby, he's been in the closet all his life. Conversion therapy is rooted in the notion that any non-heterosexual inclination is a pathology in need of a cure. This is very important point of contention in these so-called debates, because there just really isn't any debate left, because the medical establishment is pretty much in universal agreement, outside of assholes like McHugh and Blanchard and Zucker, and anybody I know the American College of Pediatricians and shit. But for the most part, gender variance is not a mental illness. Same-sex attraction is not a mental illness. It's a natural thing that nature does. You know, it's something that nature does. And in human society, indigenous society, rather than this alien industrial fascist society they built, same-sex attracted people and gender variant people are at least tolerated and left alone. You know, it's none of my business. So go ahead. Why is it imperative for cisgender and heterosexual people to force people who aren't, even though we're a small minority, we're right to force people who are not cisgender and naturally born cisgender and heterosexual? What is it that gives you this right? Your religion say so? Well, keep your religion out of my. This is America. The authors drew attention to the fact that the current therapy is currently only banned for minors in 18 states, while adults legally be offered the service in all states and jurisdictions. I have to wonder about that. It certainly needs to be banned in minors. That nobody should be forced into that until they're old enough to make an informed decision. Now, whether it should be offered to adults or not, I don't really have an opinion on that yet. If they decide that they're queer and they don't want to be queer for some reason, cured, fine, go. But to cure a queer kid because the parents don't want them to be queer. No, I'm sorry, that needs to be banned. Co-author Dr. Carl Streed, a primary care physician at Boston Medical Center and assistant professor of medicine at Boston University School of Medicine, commented on a statement. In a statement, put simply, these practices need to end. We need to work across sectors to focus on ensuring that all individuals of all ages receive appropriate comprehensive care by trained medical professionals in a supportive environment. Street said, as a lack of the regulation on these therapies, many adults and children continue to be defrauded, harmed, and traumatized in the US every day. Those who have the fake treatments are more likely to suffer depression, suicidal thoughts, and suicidal attempts, and may need treatment for post-traumatic stress disorder and post-religious trauma. Their incomes and levels of educational attainment are also lower than the average person. Same-sex attraction was viewed as abnormal in the mid-19th century, and homosexuality was listed as a mental illness by the American Psychiatric Association in 1952. Some wrongly said parenting styles, such as overbearing mothers or sexual abuse, could cause a person to be gay. In the late 1960s, doctors would advise gay people to marry opposite sex partners and prescribe encounters with sex workers, as well as orgasmic reconditioning. This treatment, currently used on sex offenders, involves masturbating to materials considered deviant before swapping to non-deviant material in an attempt to retrain their brains. But in the mid-20th century, the ideas behind these methods were questioned, including by Alfred Kinsey, who developed the sexuality rating scale which took his name. Clinicians eventually came to the consensus that a range of variations in sexual orientation and gender identity is normal in humans. This is something that the medical science has known since for the past 50 years. It's natural. It's unnatural to force people into these stereotypical gendered behaviors and modes of attire based on their fucking genitals. That's unnatural. When are you guys going to get that through your heads? It's okay. You could be, yes, the majority are cisgender and heterosexual, but same-sex attraction and gender variance is it's part of the natural order of things. So back the fuck off. Gay conversion therapy is now rejected by the medical community, with the American Psychiatric Association opposing it since 1998. Organizations including the American Medical Association, the APA, American Psychological Association, American Academy of Pediatrics, and other professional organizations have backed a primer on sexual orientation, stating the idea that homosexuality is a mental disorder, or that the emergence of same-sex attraction and orientation among some adolescents is in any way abnormal or mentally unhealthy, has no support among any mainstream health and mental health professional organizations. Wake up, Trumpers. Just, if you're not queer, don't look. You don't like it, don't look. We have a lot of straight allies these days. We have straight families. It's like, oh, okay, that's my queer nephew. It's cool. It's cool. Just back the fuck off and leave us alone. Former advocates of therapy, such as Alan Chambers, John Pope, John Smith, and David Matheson, have also denounced the practice the authors wrote. Sam Brinton, head of advocacy and government affairs for the Trevor Project, a suicide prevention and crisis intervention organization for young LGBT people, told Newsweek conversion therapy has no place in our country. A survey by the organization found that 5% of the 34,000 respondents had reported having experienced conversion therapy. That number is conservative, especially considering many conversion therapy survivors might not have the language to understand that they've experienced conversion therapy. Dr. Natasha Boyan, who was not involved in the NEJM article, echoed the concerns of the authors in an interview with Newsweek last month. Gay conversion therapy involves behavioral and psychological abuse. She said conversion therapy can literally be fatal and has resulted in the suicide of numerous youth and adults. As a medical community, it's our responsibility to protect people who are LGBTQ uh, as they are already subject to systemic discrimination in our society. If you have suicidal thoughts, confidential help is available for free at the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline, 800-273-8255. Let me give you the Trevor Project, which is specifically for LGBT youth. And I'll get you the Trans Lifeline also. From what I understand, it's actually up and running now. And the Trevor hotline is, hello. Come on, where's the hotline? 866-488-7386. That's the Trevor Project, which is specifically aimed at LGBT youth. The number again, 866-488-7386. Trans Lifeline is specifically for transgender people. And that number is 877-565-8860. And they're a 501(c), and they went through some shit because the founder was kind of a grifter, to be kind. Yeah. But they got a board of directors that ran them off and got it turned around, and they're doing it. So the number again is 877-565-8860. So let's see who's here. Anybody say anything? Good morning, Jasmine. Happy day. I'm up. They got me up 6:30 in the morning. My phone rings. Local number. I'm really sick of the fucking telemarketers. They're calling from a VPN. They're doing a VoIP number. Google just grabs a vacant number and assigns to it. Totally fucking untraceable shit. And call with a recorded message. This one just like is running through this whole spiel and wouldn't stop. I couldn't get it to stop. I kept hitting the 2. You try to hit the 2, and that's Unix saying no. But that didn't work. And I couldn't get her to stop. I ended up screaming at 6 o'clock in the morning. And then by 7:30, I had 3 more from fucking local numbers wanting to sell me shit. Then some lady, it wasn't even 7:30 yet, it was 20 after 7. Some lady called asking for someone else, trying to sell them life insurance. And then when she realized I wasn't the person she was calling to sell the life insurance, she tried to sell the life insurance to me. I'm like, what the fuck? 7:30 in the morning. And then I went and saw the bullshit that the idiots have been writing, and had a nice little conversation with the detective that's on the case. And here we are. There's this. I wonder, did I get that thing uploaded? I thought I started. I thought I started to upload it. I guess not. Let's see. I guess not. We didn't. I need to do that. I've got this morning's conversation with Detective Hyde. Interesting. We'll see what's going on. He's got everything pretty much compiled between 2. There's 3 cases where most of the investigative notes are.
Got my cough drops back resupplied yesterday, yay.
These really help a lot. So I get it just flows through here and then hangs right there where, where between your trachea and where it splits. My lungs are saying, no, that shit ain't coming in here. And I got to get rid of it. These people think I got something wrong with my lungs, and they're wrong. It's all up top. So let's look at this other issue. Everybody knows about the issues that transgender and homosexual people face, but nobody's really familiar with intersex. Mainly because intersex is a collection of body variants. So all these different things that the way that genitals can develop. It's not only just male or female. There's ambiguities that occur, and for many years, I don't know when it started, but they've been doing surgeries on these people. I had questionable surgery done on what they called a double inguinal hernia, but there are things about it that just weren't quite right. And definitely my own being has never been able to see. My mind's eye can't see a penis there. It sees a vagina there. But my body senses tell it no. So that disconnect is really awful. It's very hard to deal with. That's I read something last night about gender dysphoria. Here's somebody who wants to say that gender dysphoria is completely the result of the disconnect caused by rejection of this gender variance by society. And maybe you got to go on a case by case basis. And certainly in my own self, my distress is related to the disconnect between my brain and my balls. There's no question in my mind that society's input has nothing to do with my gender dysphoria, nothing at all. And since I've come out, society has actually been helpful in managing that gender dysphoria by accepting me as a female person. So anyway, shit, I closed what I wanted to read, dummy. This is from stop.genitalmutilation.org, and it's UN press release highlights intersex genital mutilation from last July, mid-July. During a 73rd session in Geneva, the UN Committee on the Elimination of Discrimination Against Women will examine the human rights record of Austria. StopIGM.org and the Austrian Association of Intersex People provided the committee with evidence of ongoing intersex genital mutilations. Prior to the examination, NGOs had the opportunity to brief the committee at a public session in Geneva. The statement on IGM presented by Daniela Trufer was highlighted in the UN press release on the NGO briefing. And Stop IGM said that in Austria, intersex children born with so-called ambiguous genitalia continued to be submitted to unnecessary genital surgeries, including partial clitoris amputation, sterilizing procedures, and human experimentation. Such surgeries were based on societal and cultural stereotypes of what constituted male or female bodies, and were nevertheless advocated and paid for by the public health system. To this day, rather than combat, investigate, or monitor intersex genital mutilations, the state party refused to disclose statistics on this matter and tried to misrepresent this practice as supposedly genuine health care despite the severe pain and suffering it caused. And that's where it's at. It's only practiced by a small number of doctors. And most people, including professional people, are in the dark about it happening. They don't even know. So I went and contacted the Intersex lobbying group and told them that what was going on here, because I've asked here, and they're like, they're just getting mobilized to fight conversion therapy, and fighting for medically accurate and unbiased curricula for sex education. That's the main thing that's coming together. There's a workshop this afternoon with parents and kids, right on the other side of Santa Rita Park. I'll be going to at 5 o'clock. I'll try and get some video there if they let me. But since there's nobody around, and I don't really want to waste a lot of energy rambling about the idiots, I'll just go quietly collect the things I need to collect and send to the investigator, and thank those who came for coming, and happy day. See you later.